Coming in at number 1 on our 2023 draft rankings, it's Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard from the Regina Pats. How's that for a little bit of a drum roll, building the intensity? Who's it going to be? It's Connor Bedard, Pilsy, and it's really not close. And it's one of those, every time you think you know how good he is, you watch another highlight and you're like, how did he do that?
Yeah, honestly, Ross, we were talking about it before the show, and both of us were watching highlights, and it's just like I was watching a highlight, and I was like, oh, damn, this guy's got a great backhand. Next highlight. Oh, man, the dangles on this guy. Like, he can get through 3 or 4 guys with ease. And then it's like, oh, what a shot from long range. What an amazing passing ability. Look at the skating ability on this guy. And it's just like, where does it end? Like, how list all the attributes a hockey player could possibly have. And Connor Bedard not only has them, not only is good at them, but he's better than all his peers in almost every single category. It's insane how good this kid is.
Connor Bedard playing for the Regina Pats in the WHL had 57 games played. Pilsy, how many goals, how many assists? Walk me through that.
Okay, let's do it. Connor Bedard with the Regina Pats in 57 games, 71 goals, not bad. 72 assists, also pretty good, for 143 points in the regular season. I mean, my God.
So, is he too small to play in the NHL, Pilsy? That's the big question. Can he play center right away at 5'10", 185 pounds?
This kid could be 4'3", 110 pounds, and he would excel in the NHL as far as I'm concerned. Like, the thing is, Ross, the only time size is really an issue is if you're getting bullied out there, is if it's easy for other teams to pick the puck off you, or you're getting caught with your head down too often and they're able to line you up for a classic K-train hit or something like that. But he's just so evasive and so deceptive, and he's one of those guys, like, I think this classic quote describes it best. He's out there playing chess while everybody's playing checkers. Like, he is so many steps ahead. He's so much smarter than a collective group of 5 guys on the ice that, yeah, people that are saying there's concern with the size, I don't buy into that whatsoever, Ross.
The only thing I think it will affect early, and it does with every young player despite size, is I think he's going to be like a 35% face-off guy his first year.
Okay, fair. I will admit to that, but like,
who cares?
Yeah, if he loses the face-off, he'll probably get it back pretty quickly. So I'm not really concerned. And it could be one of those situations where you get a Claude Giroux or Brady Tkachuk on his line, a winger that has experience taking face-offs. He takes the draw, and then boom, you go as usual.
So he's, yeah, as I mentioned, a bit undersized, but he's the first WHLer to get exceptional status. That means he was playing in the WHL when he was just a kid. He was 15 years old, and he had 28 points in 15 games. Like, that's the type of player that you're looking at now. He gets 100 in his second year, and then in 5 less games this year, puts up 43 more points, Pilsy. And this team finished 7th in the conference they were in the WHL. He was not surrounded by a whole lot of elite talent. He willed this team to so many victories. The amount of times he goes through 3 players, making it look easy, and the shot is lethal. The shot is his A+ attribute, and the story of how he got his shot to where it is super cool. I don't know if you heard this, but he had a wrist injury when he was a kid, and he couldn't shoot for a certain amount of time. It was a matter of months. And if he did, the doctor said he could mess up a growth plate and it would affect him for the rest of his life. So he listened to the doctor, but he found an alternative. He went to the backyard and every day took thousands of shots with one hand on his stick. You know how strong you have to be able to snap it around with one hand on your stick at that age, over and over and over again. And that's the thing with these freak athletes that you look at with the Connor Bedards of the world. Not only are they gifted, they also work harder than anybody else. Like,
you're disciplined. Yeah.
You look at Sidney Crosby as the perfect example. He gave up so much to be how good he is. And that's just the price you have to pay for greatness. And this guy, without kind of trying to put too much pressure on him, he's poised to be one of the best players in our game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when you're comparing him to other generational talents, I don't have him ahead of Connor McDavid, and I don't think most people do. Even The Athletic did an article asking people to kind of rank top generational guys, and Connor McDavid's still the one, just because that the skating is what separates him, right? Like Connor McDavid is the greatest skater in the world, and I don't think it's particularly close, right? So that's tough to beat. But he's just so good in every area. And what he does that I love is when he has the puck, he attacks multiple players, and then from there the opportunities are endless. Like he can dangle through 3 players with ease, or let's say he has a guy covering him one-on-one really tightly, and then another guy comes and now there's 2-on-1. Well, sure, you may think, okay, we've got Connor Bedard locked up, but he's such a good playmaker. All you've done is create a wide open lane in a dangerous scoring opportunity for one of his teammates, so he can pass that off with ease. He can do, like, the perfect example of this, Ross, was that World Junior goal up against Slovakia for the overtime winner. Like, even they needed to. I was watching the highlight of that. They should have rewinded it and started the replay earlier. I think he had 5.
You would have.
Yeah, I would have. Replay guy. I think he had 5 shots on goal on that shift. And what he did is every time he tried a different shot and then it didn't work. And he's like, okay, I'm not just going to rip it. I'm going to go through the whole team and then deke out the goalie. That's what I'm going to do next. And that's what he does. Like you cannot stop this kid. He is so damn impressive.
We've probably lasted long enough before saying he will go to Chicago first overall. That team stinks. They traded away their most talented player, Patrick Kane. Although he's a free agent, get the tinfoil hat on. Would Patty Kane go back to Chicago to play with this kid?
Absolutely not. He's all you have to do is after locker cleanout for the Rangers, a reporter asked him that, and he was like dumbfounded. He was like, back to Chicago? Like, that's never even crossed my mind. Like, they're rebuilding. I don't know. Like, it was hilarious how, like, you'd think he might be prepared to answer that question, but it hasn't even crossed his mind. So that's not happening.
So they will be going out and getting free agents this summer, and it'll be a lot easier to do. Yes. So Chicago's already a place that players want to play. The United Center, when it's full, is one of the best. Well, you would know.
I can tell you, Ross, that was my Sens Central standout for that game, was the United Center. Like, when people talk about the anthem, I had chills, like goosebumps. It was incredible. The atmosphere is great. The rink is great. The United Center is top in the league for sure.
And that's where he'll be playing 41 games next year. Now, we have a thing up here that I'd like people to discuss in the comments below. How many points do you foresee Connor Bedard getting in his rookie season, right? It's hard because we don't know which free agents or who's going to be on his line. It's not like it's hand to him who's going to be with him. But I wouldn't be surprised, let's put it, if he gets 65 points.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, a perfect example of this, Ross, is he didn't have a lot of help in Regina. So it's not like this kid needs the help.
Yeah. Not playing against future farmers and insurance brokers anymore, though.
Yeah, probably not. I'm going to go. I think he hits 70 easy, no matter who his teammates are.
Teed up from Zaitsev on those breakout passes, too.
Huge.
He'll probably be able to handle those passes as though they're crispy right on the tape.
Yeah, Zaitsev's like, okay, I got to bang this off the ice and bang this off the glass and ice it here. And Connor Bedard just knocks it down, breakaway.
Yeah, 100%. So
nice pass, Nikita.
What are you putting the over-under at?
I'll say 70.
70? Just show it. Like, number one attribute for Connor Bedard, it's the shot. Number two, it's the hands, the creativity, the hockey IQ.
I disagree, Ross. I don't think his top attribute is the shot. It's his hockey IQ. Like, and the fact that he is an amazing shot. Don't get me wrong, but that's not where it all comes down. It's the fact that he can maneuver through an entire team in one shift. Like, he's done that numerous times, that he doesn't even need to have that good of a shot because he can put himself in such a good position. So I think his top attribute is the hockey IQ. It's insane.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. And funny connection, and maybe some people would know this, but the PR guy for the Regina Pats is actually from Ottawa. So there's a bit of a connection. His mom and my mom know each other a little bit. So he's just talking about
what are you saying, Ross? What are you saying here?
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like, from an off-ice perspective, Like, just like he's making sure this guy is going to the draft with him. Like, that's the kind of guy, like, he wants to bring everybody with him along.
Nice.
He's just that kind of guy off the ice, and he's going to be a star right away. There's very little doubt in my mind that Connor Bedard is going to be a superstar in this league sooner rather than later. Now, what are the scouts saying about him? Mitch Brown from Elite Prospect says, a prospect who continues to get better when it doesn't seem possible. Craig Button with TSN calls him a generational player like Bedard, makes Chicago a future cup contender. And Rachel Dory says anyone who doesn't have Bedard first is going right to jail. Followed up by saying, don't pass go. Don't get $200 in Monopoly money. You don't get any of that because you're going straight to jail if you don't think Bedard is first overall in this class. Now, the most untouchable draft pick going, nobody's trading that pick. He's going to Chicago. And shout out Hawks fans, because you've had a really tough year. I really feel sorry for how Chicago Blackhawks have had to watch this team. No, I don't. I
was like, oh, this is interesting. Interesting take, Ross.
No, I don't feel bad at all. Good. And I'm actually pretty mad that that's where he ended up. I thought Anaheim would have been really cool. Like the Mason McTavish, the junior teammate, all that. And
yeah, I was cheering for Anaheim as well, Ross.
World junior, I should say. Not that Adam Fantilli, who we're going to cover tomorrow, is any slouch, but Connor Bedard easily, there's no bigger gap in the draft than between number one and the rest of the field, like in individual spots.
And Ross, it's hilarious to say that because Adam Fantilli would be a great first overall draft pick. Like, it's not, we're not downplaying the top 5 other players. Like, we're just elevating Connor Bedard to that status.
He's that good. So Hawks fans, you got a great one. The NHL has a great one. And you know what's really cool? I don't know if it's just by happenstance or whatever, but the fact that like all these generational players, it just feels like they always have a unique number that's theirs, right? Like, I'm not 100% sure he's going to wear 98 in the NHL like he did in junior.
I think he will.
Well, I mean, at World Juniors, he wore 16.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, but right, like think of all of them, like Mario Lemieux, 66, Wayne Gretzky, 99, Crosby, 87.
Daniel Alfredson, 11.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ovechkin's probably the only other one too, where it's like a more normal number, but like McDavid, 97, right? Yeah. Like now you got 98, Connor Bedard. So he's a hell of a player. And as we get closer and closer to the draft, there's going to be lots of debate of who goes where, but no one will touch the fact that Connor Bedard will be going number one in this 2023 NHL Draft.